Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy Saturday. I'm so looking forward to today's session. I have my magnets. Well, these are actually some magnets from my son's from the refrigerator. So I have my magnets. I hope everyone brought their magnets today for today's session. I'm super excited. We're in for a treat with Miss Denise Pesina. So get ready, get comfortable, grab some magnets. It could be my kids, my little guy's magnets from the refrigerator. It still has magnets on the back. So grab what you can. And at 4 o'clock, we will be starting. And welcome, everyone. Hi, Damani. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to see you. Let's see. My light is dimming down. Hold on. Let me make my phone. Okay. There we go. All right. How's everyone doing today? How is your Saturday? Is anybody looking forward to the session today? Hold on, Damani, I'll let you on in. Hey, Denise. Okay, I'm about to bring you on in one moment, lady. Hold on. Let's bring you on in. You there, Denise?
Hi, how is everybody?
Hey. We are good. And I know it was Damien. Damien was trying to come on, so I'll bring him on. We'll bring you on after so you can tell us how you liked it, how it went and everything. Okay, Denise, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. A wonderful day. How are you?
Doing good. I'm trying to make sure you have some good light. You just look like you're missing a little bit more light. Like we need to see you just a little bit more. It's kind of dark just a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's
Perfect.
good. That's good. You gotta get a
Beautiful.
newer light. We can get you a newer light. A newer
Yes,
light,
well,
you know.
I was trying some different lighting out and the sun is shifting too, so
No, that's okay. So welcome. Thank you
thank
everyone for joining
you.
us. Everyone's coming on slowly but surely. Yay!
Beautiful.
This is gonna be a great session today. So I have my magnets. I have the
Wonderful.
magnet from the refrigerator though. I have the O and the
Is
F.
that?
Yes. Okay. So I
Oh,
guess
wonderful.
we can just let everybody roll on in and then get started in about one more minute.
Yeah, take your time. Just enjoying the weather over here. It's nice and it's getting a lot more sunny than before. So fun.
Oh yes. Oh, like I see more
Spring
light
is
right
right
there.
around
Wherever
the
you
corner.
was, wherever you was doing, the light was coming in. It was coming in where you was. It was like really good light. But okay. All right. So hi everyone. Welcome today. I'm so super excited to have the certified holistic health practitioner, Denise Pesina, on today. She has studied with some of the best. She has studied at the Ayurvedic Institute. I hope I said that right. She has studied at Shanghai University, National Health Sciences. I mean, she is amazing. And so I am just elated to have you on today. I know you are going to
Yeah.
walk us through what we can do to really move our energy and the flow of it as it relates to mindfulness, muscle testing, and magnet therapy. And I know you're going to elaborate on this more, but I know from my understanding, it's supposed to help with like anxiety and stress
Yes,
and
yes,
fatigue. So,
yes,
yes.
definitely. I'm excited to be here. I thank you everyone for having me. We have a lot to cover today. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that this is a gift, that everything we share with our brothers and sisters is a gift. If it does not resonate with you, that's okay too. So just take what resonates with you and then just leave everything else behind. So this is non-judgmental space. So ask any questions and don't be afraid to ask. Every question is valid. So I wanted to begin talking about three different things. One of them is an energetic mindfulness. Another, we're going to go into muscle testing, and then magnet therapy. And then we're going to intertwine the two and see where that takes us. So I would love to give a lot of examples, but I do have to keep moving too because I have a really broad spectrum to cover, and I want to make sure that I cover all of it. If after that time we want to do some practice in any one of those things, then that would be a great time to do more of that.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the subtle vibrations of the body. So energetic mindfulness can mean many things. And we live in a world where we're getting a lot of electromagnetic frequencies everywhere, not only from the Earth's field, but also from like microwaves and computers and phones, and we're filled with energy, right? Our body is just so ionic, and we're a conduit of this electromagnetic energy, and our meridians and acupoints are energy channels and vortexes, and we're constantly processing. So with that in mind, though, we have subtle energies of the body, and they usually start with vibrations. And what these vibrations are telling us usually is that it's something to focus on. Not necessarily that something's wrong, but something that needs to be shifted. And if we don't do anything about it, they can be causative of disease and other stressors in our life. So one way that I like to practice to really, first of all, there's a warning signs to these signals also. So not only is there joyous energy and light energy, everyone's like light codes, light energy, and everything's great. Yes, but there is also warning signs. And those can be signs like feeling off, feeling different shifts in temperature, flushes. So when we enter a situation or we feel an emotion, we can be flushed with cold, heat. We can have sudden exhaustion. We can have a lot of different shifts, even mysterious aches and pains that come up all of a sudden. And one very common thing a lot of people feel is contraction of muscles. And with those contractions, it can also lead to some breathing issues. A lot of people feel tightness of breath, especially with things like fear and anxiety or a really different heavy stressors. But how do we know exactly where these things are coming from? Because right now in this world, we have a lot of overstimulation. One practice that has really helped me is sitting in mindfulness. Once you do this alone, you can also practice it in any situation you are, even while other people are around you. But it's to go inside, and you can go inside even when you're already meditating. But going inside and really feeling all of the vibrations that you feel in just quietness, and then let's add something to that. So what I like to do is I like to verbalize a name of someone I know, and then analyze how that relationship is inside my body. Is there anything I need to work on? And that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is not good. But sometimes we carry different energies, feelings, and that they attach and they become stagnant then or resonate inside us. And in order, even if we can't change a relationship and how it is in our life, what it can do for us is help us release that inside our own body, which in turn will benefit our own life and maybe even change the relationship between the two people. So I like to do that. And what I do is I repeat one name, and I see how it makes my body feel, and then I repeat another, and I do this down the line, and sometimes I compare different feelings I'm having. Also, it's good, you can practice this when you're wanting to know about different choices that you're making, a new relationship, a new job, different situations and how you might feel about them, thinking about new things that you want to be doing. Or maybe you're just revisiting something that happened that day and you really want to get to where it is sitting, resonating in your body. So sometimes too, when we feel these things, we can breathe through them, or we can use other modalities to clear them. But other times we cannot, and that's okay too. Because by doing this exercise and these practices, we can really better assess where we're at and what we still need to work on. And anywhere that we are in this journey is definitely okay. I mean, it's a sacred journey and we're all on it together.
Yeah.
We all have, but not only are we together, but we have our own individual journeys too.
Yeah.
So what if you're doing these exercises and you don't feel anything at all? That's okay. That's okay too, because it takes practice. Where sometimes everything takes practice. And with the way we get better is by keep repeating it and keep repeating it. And every awareness will bring on another. So it's like a rolling effect of waves of new awakenings that happen.
Yeah.
If you still, after some time, cannot feel anything at all, you can do what's called a muscle test. And a muscle test is what's connecting with your higher self. So connecting with your subconscious. So what we might not be aware of, we can actually do different tests through our body and find the answer that we're looking for. So there's several ways to muscle test, but I'm only going to show you one way today because we are on a limited time and I want to cover a lot of different things. So, but whatever resonates with you, get online, investigate it, find some reputable practitioners that resonate with you. Or if not, you don't need one at all. You can just become your own healer. So one thing I want to mention before the muscle test is who cannot muscle test. Muscle testing is not for everybody. And some things that may impede a muscle test result is alcohol and drug use. So if someone has been using or is intoxicated, the result will not be accurate. Another conflict with muscle testing would be a severe body misalignment. And this can be from surgeries, not really feeling connected. And that's okay, because even if you can't do it now, there are other modalities that you can use. Another thing is being overstimulated in your environment. If you have trouble, if it's more of a challenge being mindful and you cannot center or ground yourself, then chances are that your muscle test will be inaccurate. And so, with all that in mind, my recommendation for these people would be to just find a practitioner to help you. And a lot of us have to do that anyway, even if we have none of these things. Sometimes getting over the initial hump and different ways, we can then become our own healer, because it is possible for everyone to be their own healer. And if this is not the right modality for you, that's okay too, because everyone is different. So the first muscle test we're going to do is called a ring test. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make your fingers into two rings. And you're going to open one, and you're going to put it inside the other. So once again, two rings, open, put it inside the other. And they're just sitting there at a pause. They're not tugging. They're just sitting quietly, right? So every time we test, once we ask a question, we are going to come back to this pause. We are not going to constantly tug every question that we ask. We must create a pause between questions and realign, reset our bodies so that it is in the pause motion. You don't want to be like, yes, no, yes, and that is not okay. So a good way to start to muscle test is by muscle testing with things that we know are going to be yes or no, but like the words love and hate, which is to our highest benefit. So another thing is, when we begin a muscle test, strong is usually meaning yes, and then weakness is usually meaning no or imbalance. But this is not always the case. We have to be careful how we word questions so that they are very clear, and the questions must resonate with us as individuals. Another thing that could change is as you muscle test and over time, you can change the way your body answers. So for myself in a session, I don't want to keep releasing when it's not the right one. I want to say which one of these 20 things are and release when it is, right? I want to know the answer yes and only release when it's yes. But for now, we're going to go just do basic. And so strength means good for us, yes. And then weakness means imbalance, no. So we can practice. So everyone can center in their own way. And if you can't do it right now, that's okay too. You can rewatch this video. You can practice again later. So back to the ring test. So love is strong. See, I'm back to pause. Love, strong. Hate.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. Love,
Yeah.
strong. Back to the pause position. Hate.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
We're going to do it again. Love, strong. Hate. So for right now, we are just going to take what we've learned and set it aside, because we're going to go on to the next thing and revisit this later. So I have an outline of what I'm going through just to make sure that I don't miss any important details. Okay, I did that.
This is good. This is good so far. I know you mentioned the Meridian earlier, but I know once we get into muscle testing, magnet therapy, you talk about the Meridian more.
That's right. I will. And I mentioned how our hands give off energy. So if we don't have magnets, we can still do work. Great. So we are going to be on our way now to the magnets, and then we're going to revisit the muscle testing and magnets together. So talking about magnets, first of all, once again, going back into the body and how we're an electromagnetic conduit. We have vortexes for acupoints. We have channels of meridians. We have mineral salts that are electrically charged flowing through our blood. So when we are by all of these electromagnetic equipment, we are always processing energy. We're not only processing energy from all of these different things like computers and laptops, but we're also processing it from each other and from the earth. And keeping that in mind, how do magnets help a body? Do magnets heal? Well, magnets don't necessarily heal. They allow the body to heal. And what they do is they shift energies. So one prime example is an early FDA-approved therapy for bone healing. So I'm going to talk about a couple different things that magnets do for the body. And one of them is through bone healing. And what that therapy was pushing osteoblasts towards a fracture. So what does that mean for us? So it actually healed the fracture through the use of magnets. So actually it's called a process called osteogenesis. And what it does is as you run the magnet across the bone, it pushes the calcium proteins towards the fracture and literally heals it. And that's so exciting. So what are these osteoblasts and how can we get more, right? Well, a normal person who is very active every day is creating osteoblastic activity already. So they're literally pushing these calcium proteins through their body and their tissues and their bones. But as someone who's more sedentary or even an elderly person, they become osteoclastic. And what that means is that they're more apt to have bone degeneration. And in that bone degeneration, what is one to do? We don't want to be weak. So the magnets actually can help push the calcium proteins through the bones. In fact, someone with osteoporosis, by doing magnetic pulse therapies, can show an improvement of up to 20 to 30%, just 8 minutes a day, twice a day.
Wow. And this is moving the magnet.
That's just by using the magnets. Another thing that magnets do is they reduce swelling. Right? And that's great, especially after surgeries. Running magnets across your body is really good to do. They also good for edema.
Close the door.
Another thing is that they open up sickly cells for therapeutic benefit. And let me go more into that. So when there's a cell, first I want to mention this. When you run a magnet across a healthy cell, there is no way to imbalance it. No way at all. It is going to be operating at top performance. You cannot shift a balanced cell and make it unbalanced using magnets. So that is always good to know. So the imbalanced cell, how does it help imbalance cells? Well, a sickly cell likes to stay sick. So it closes itself off to help So a lot of times we go into these modalities and we're like, wait a second, I've been doing this and nothing's changing. My body doesn't want to change. Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't, because once they're imbalanced, they like to stay that way. Their receptor sites close.
Hold
So what happens
on,
is
just one
when you
moment.
run the magnets
Hold on,
over,
one moment, Denise. Just one moment, okay? Hold on, one moment. Sorry, hold on.
take your time, take your time.
I am so sorry. Super
No, it's
sorry.
wonderful.
All right,
We all
sorry
have
everyone. I
these
had
things
the little guy was like, he's trying to go somewhere, and I'm trying to tell him that I'm doing a recording.
Yes, yes. Well, he loves his mom so much. Well,
Yes.
so beautiful. So you're so blessed. That's so wonderful. I love you so much. Okay, so back to the cells. How do magnets help in balanced cells? Well, in
Mhm.
very just clear terms, it shifts bond angles. So what happens is when we run the magnets over our body, the
Yeah.
imbalanced cells shift. In fact, all cells shift, but balanced ones they're just balanced. They're not, it's like not going to make a difference. The imbalanced ones, by shifting the bond angles, also shift the receptor sites, making them open to healing. So the more we shift them, the more open they are and they become receptive. So actually, by using magnets, all of your other healing modalities are magnified. And so
That's
it's a
what it
great,
sounds like. Like it activates everything. It's
yes, yes,
activating the process of healing. Not necessarily healing, but activating the process of healing
right.
naturally, correct?
Yes, definitely. So who cannot use magnets, right? So there are people that cannot use this modality, but that's okay because there's lots of other ones available. But who are these people? So all of our brothers and sisters who have pacemakers, they cannot use magnets. Defibrillators, no magnets.
Mm.
The epileptic or a history of epilepsy, please do not use magnets. And anyone on anticoagulants, so any kind of blood thinners, don't use magnets either. So what happens is magnets replicate what aspirin does, and actually it doesn't work in the same way, but similar. So if you are already on a blood thinner, you cannot use a magnet. So the different type of magnets people use. So there's a lot of things out there, therapy magnets. So a long time ago, a therapy magnet was anything over 10 gauze.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's anything over 300. So because times have changed and we just have so much energy coming from all different sources. So I would suggest, so the earth is resonating at 0.5 gauze, um, to start with something that's 300 and do some investigation of what you want to do. But starting lower is always good. You can always go up and do higher later. You don't want to really shock your body. Every time you use a really high intensity therapeutic magnets, we release toxins, we open cells. That's a lot for our body to deal with. So we want to start out slow and we want to pay attention. Remember, we can move at our own pace. There is no right or there's no time frame, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. Where do
Okay.
you get your magnets? Well, you can
Mm-hmm.
order from companies. Nakin is one. They have their Mag Boy magnets. That's a reputable company. I'm not an advertiser. I'm just naming one so that I know that it is reputable for any one of you who are looking to get
Denise,
a magnet.
Denise, Denise, I don't want to cut you off, but continue talking. I'm gonna come right back, but continue talking to everybody,
Great.
okay?
Yes.
I gotta
Yes.
get the little one, but just talk to everybody. I'm coming right back.
Beautiful. So also you can use any kind of, I think it's called neodymium, neodymium magnets. And if you have magnets that are not neodymium, that's okay too. Because what happens is if you drop the magnet or if it's all magnet, you can revitalize these magnets by just placing them next to the neodymium magnets. What I use and what I like to use are industrial magnets. So these are my favorite because they're smooth surface and they roll over any part of the body and they feel so good. The Magmoy magnets are more like rollers. I've had some clients get them caught in their hair, but everyone likes their own thing. So just whatever resonates with you. So let's see, what else did I want to mention? Oh, yes, polarity. Magnet polarity. So there's north and south poles of a magnet. So the North Pole is yin. So that would be good for like headaches, inflammation, maybe even arthritis. And so the South Pole is yang and it's good for like scars, even paralysis. What I like to do though is I like to work in bipolar. So I use both sides. I use both sides on the body because that is what was used for bone healing, fracture healing, and chronic pain. So while I'm on the talk about magnets, I want to talk about some other modalities that you can use magnets in, and that is like acupoint therapy. So that's a lot of times for chronic pain. People place the dot magnets on different acupoints. You can keep those on all day, and you can even sleep with them. Another kind of therapy is the pulsed magnetic therapy, and what that does, it works kind of like a muscle stim. So it does like repetitious intervals of pulses of magnets, and that's more for like osteoporosis and also for chronic pain. You know, I don't really recommend the mattresses that are just filled with magnets. Not only could it be just too much, or it could just be a lulling effect and not even work at all. So I'd really, if I would do one, it would be to work with magnets on a shorter period basis, or to do actually the pulsed therapy. But it's up to you.
Yeah.
And if it works for you, great. Anything that works is fabulous. So, I don't know if I mentioned, anyone with a metal implant, any kind of implants that are made of metal in their body, do not use magnets at all. It could become dislodged, and we want everyone to be safe. It's great. So the next thing that I want to go over today is magnets and meridians. So fun. So what I'm going to share, I'm going to share.
I was gonna say, before we get there, can we do a magnet? Can we go hands on into everything, or are we going to do brief history now and then go into the hands-on practice? Is that how we're doing it?
Yes, that way that I don't miss anything and everyone's aware. So we are going to be doing that, but I want to make sure that everyone understands what we're doing, and we just don't have to keep going back. So it's good to get some brief history so that everyone's like, oh, I know why I'm doing this, and I know why I'm feeling these sensations.
Yeah.
So
can we talk about where to get the magnets from?
Yes, well, you can go like to Nikken, or you can Nikken. They have their Mag Boys. You can also look at any kind of like Home Depot. You want to get at least 300 plus. You don't want to go any less than that. And like I said, way back when, 10 gauss was a therapeutic magnet. Now it's 300. And acupuncture magnets, you know, in history, where 3,000 was like, whoa, that's a lot. And now it's 3,000 to 6,000. Now people are using, so things are changed a lot. But if you do your investigating, you want to look for a reputable company. But even if you have an old magnet, you, like I said, you can revitalize them by placing them next to one of the neodymium. That word is always something for me to say. Neodymium magnets. So
wow.
So I haven't done magnets and meridians yet. It's great. So magnets and meridians. So we can use magnets. I like to use the bipolar. I used to like to use one of each. Like I said, that's the one used for bone healing and for fracture repair and for chronic pain. And I figure, why not use them both? They both have benefits, and whichever cell I'm running over, it's going to have benefit. So this is our governing meridian, starting at the top of our head and going down the nape of our neck to the base of our spine. And it's our energy channel that is the strongest channel for release and receiving for our body. So there's 12 principal meridians. There's other smaller ones, and there's acupoints too, but we're just going to focus on the principal ones and what we can do. And what we do is we can run them just clearly across all of our meridians. A good thing that I like to do is, I've had in the past some issues with my triple warmer and pericardium. So I like to just run the magnets downwards. So before you start running magnets, I do want to say, is that you should always go from head to toe. You should never go from foot to head, because that can reverse polarity of your meridian systems, and that would not be good for your energy alignments. Another thing I want to say is if you should always go from origin outwards. So if you start at your stomach, you should go down your leg. If you start at your stomach, you should go out your arm. You should never go from your fingers towards your heart. So it's head, down, origin, out. Head, down, origin, out. It's very important to remember. If you do make a mistake and you do that, that's okay. Just start running it the regular way. And some people do have reverse polarities due to like surgeries and severe misalignments. Well, this can also help change it to the correct way, the correct polarity. I did have a reversed polarity from a surgery that was old in my triple warmer. So I was able to use these magnets to really break through and really start polarity. And now I feel great. I feel great. So what I like to do is I like to focus on, first of all, you can always run across your governing meridian, but sometimes it's hard to reach our back. So I'll just do it from the front, and I will just run it across. And every time you pick your magnet up, do not keep it on your body. Pick it up like a circular motion, and then put it back, and then pick it up and put it back, because you do not want to reverse polarities.
So is it like this?
No, you
like
want
this?
It's always head down.
Okay, so start from here.
Down. Yeah, you don't want to be going in all different directions. You want to make sure all of our meridians pretty much run along our body line. So we don't want to start pushing one that way and one flowing this way. We want to make sure it's from origin, which is, if you can just think of your heart, that can be your origin or your energy center. And you can just go outwards from there. You don't want to, so the arm is always from outwards, never from the fingers up. And so I like to run it across my meridian, my pericardium, and then my triple warmer underneath. Also, this is like the arm is for the small and large intestine. So sometimes I'll just go across my whole arm and literally just do each piece of it. And it feels really good. It's a really great way to clear. And it's
right?
I'm touching the magnet to my skin. I'm just not touching it on the way back up. So I'm going down to my skin, and then I'm lifting it off my skin, bringing it back up, and starting again.
Okay, so it does touch your skin.
It touches your skin on the way down from origin out. So down your arm. I don't run the magnet up my arm, always down, always out. So I like to do this. I like to do it like a massage. Like you can massage like this. You have a child, an elderly person, you can run the magnets. Again, it's really great for elderly because it shifts the bond angles of the cells. So it really opens their cells up to becoming more balanced. Plus, it's great for bone healing. And then another thing I like to do that's invigorating, it's just something personal I want to share with you, is I like to take the magnets, and let's see if you can see me. And I like to just bring it down my chest, and in just motions like this. And I just do this for about 10 minutes. When I'm feeling exhausted and I have a lot of clients, I'm like, oh, how am I going to make it through the day? I already drank coffee and I wasn't supposed to. Now I'm like, when am I going to get there all wired? Like, I need to do something to wake up. And what it does, I do this and I also run it down. And it feels invigorating. It feels energizing. And usually at that point, I'm awake and ready to go again. So it's really helpful. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. So we're on our way to intertwining magnets and muscle testing. So first, before we even do the muscle testing, we can clear trapped emotions by just knowing what they are. So when we are going through the day and we're out in the car, we're seeing our clients, we're doing whatever we need to do, and we all of a sudden something triggers us and we're like, oh, that was hurtful, or that really affected me. You
Mm-hmm.
right away, you can just take your magnets and you can say with intention. I always like to pray first, but you know, do whatever resonates with you, but it's always good to have clear intention. And I run it across the nape of my neck, so probably from here to here, which is easiest for me to reach, and my lower back. So I do it a few times each time, and I repeat a general statement like this. So clearing all low frequencies of grief from my body, mind, spirit, soul, life, energy systems, organs, and no longer serves a purpose. Transmute it to highest benefit light, to my highest benefit. And then I'll do the other side. Usually my words are always different because it's just whatever I'm feeling. But there's a general prayer, and the prayer, and what you should generally intend to do is 1, clear the low frequency of, 2, transmute it, and 3, insert what's to your highest benefit, because you don't want to leave yourself empty. So I've done like body emotion code with people when I was first starting, and sometimes I was just left feeling like, what just happened? Like don't feel like myself, and I feel so empty. And it's because when you take something out, you have to put something in.
Yeah.
You're left with emptiness and confusion. And so what I did was I started inserting light in me, inserting joy and light and whatever's to my highest benefit, God's grace. And this is from my own personal experience. Whatever resonates with you is great, but I'm just sharing what works for me. So I asked all of my divine holy family to just come in and heal me and provide me all resources, and to clear this low frequency from every cell, from every organ, from every tissue, from every ligament, from every system, from my energy systems, from my past and present karma, from my karmic resonances, from cellular resonances, to anything ancestral, past, present, future, behavior patterns, my thoughts, my mind, and just start clearing everything. So this is a really good way to be your own healer. Another way, did you have any questions before we continue? Way to put it in here.
Wait,
And we're
you was
going,
going, you kind of went out, but we had someone ask the question of explaining transmute. Can you explain transmute for me?
oh, yes, definitely. So when you transmute, you want to shift the energy, you want to change it. So because energy just changes forms, we want to change the energy that was once negative and heavy into a more powerful light energy that is actually beneficial. So if we can't dissolve the energy, then what we want to do is we want to change it. So we can change it through several ways. We can say transmute this energy to the elements, the fire, water, earth, sky, and air, and turning it into highest light. Myself, I use a lot of different phrases. Sometimes I want to burn it in the sun. Sometimes I want to transmute it to the elements. Sometimes I just want to transmute it to positive light, showering me with what's to my highest benefit. It's just important to do something with the energy and not just clear it, because we don't want to send that energy to someone else either. We are all here
Mhm.
together, and we want to make sure that no one else has to deal with that heavy energy that we so want to get rid of.
Now, I know earlier when you were saying clearing with attention, you did say, you was like, I wanted to serve my highest self. Like you was talking about getting rid of
Yeah.
it, but then you went into how it can serve you. Is that where the transmute, that where it's taking place at in that place
So
when you talk
that
about
that
serving you
was
at the highest good?
so that was after. So if I could really go into what I usually say for myself, I would call in my whole divine family, all divine who love me unconditionally to my highest benefit. Please come to me now. Please provide me all resources, healing, everything to my highest benefit. I accept all attunements to my highest benefit. Please clear these low frequencies of from my
Yeah.
body, from my cells, from all of my systems, from past, present karma, from all karmic resonances, from all resonances, from all frequencies, sounds, all energies. And you could just go on and on and on. And then you say, well, and then transmute this low frequency to positive light, transmute it to highest divine light, showering me with what is to my highest benefit, God's grace, God's love, empowerment, strength, anything that you want in your life, joy, peace, healing, cellular invigoration. I want to feel invigorated. Fill me with what's to my highest benefit. I always just like to really include something that you can gain. And every time you let go, you can always gain something too.
Mm-hmm. Now we had another question come in. Where can they get magnets from again? You said Home Depot, and you
You
mentioned
can get
another
it
place.
from companies like Nikken, Nikken. I'm not an advertiser, so don't judge me on my pronunciations. But I have bought magnets from them, and they're a very reputable company. It's what's called a Magboy, Magboy. And they are therapeutic magnets, but also you can get it from regular industrial places. You can look up the gauze. That's what's most important. GAUSS. You want to go 300 plus, and 3,000 to 6,000 is professional grade. You also want to make sure that your magnet is neodymium. Neodymium. I can never say that word. It's just so, oh dear Lord. But even if it's not, it's okay too. And you can always recharge other magnets that you have on one of those magnets. So for one that has been exposed to like a high heat or been dropped a lot, you can renew them by exposing them to the neodymium magnets.
Okay.
So just do your homework, just look, and pretty much a lot of magnets, are pretty good. Just make sure it's the right gauze that you want, and maybe get a couple different ones to try. You can also decide if you want to do the north or south polarities, because they are different, or do the bipolar, which is for the chronic pain and fracture healing. I always do bipolar, because once again, you cannot make a balanced cell sickly. So if you can't make the balance cell sickly, I might as well just run everyone over with both. Get everything done in once.
This sounds like high vibrational way of living.
Yes. Yes.
It's what it sounds like, because when I think of energy, I think of vibration. Is energy and vibration the same thing?
Well, energies have vibrations.
Okay. 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 So energy is the mother of vibration, if I'm saying it right?
Yes. Yes.
So the vibration extends from energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But this would probably be considered like high vibrational way of living by moving energy throughout your body to help heal you.
Well, we're all vibrational beings. So
Mm.
why not just own that and literally move the
Mhm.
energy ourselves? And when
Yeah.
we do these things to ourselves, not only are we our own healers, it's good for our pocketbook, right? We're over here regenerating, we're healing. We're like, we can do it on time. Our time is not of the essence. We can do it anytime. We're our own healers. And it's important, if this doesn't work for you, to find something that does, so that you can embrace being your own healer, because you are empowered and you are divine and you have all these resources available to you. And you really need to own that and believe that, because each one of us have these resources. We all have this ability.
Yes. I love it. I love the whole heal yourself component. Like, I really love that there's so many healing modalities out there to really help us to become our own healers. Like, I always go back to the fact that everything that we need to help us on our self-care wellness journey is
Yeah.
really within us already or
Yes. Yes.
around us in nature. That if
Yes.
we just tap in, tune in, and take care, we will elevate, our journey as
That is
vibrational
so true.
beings.
That's so true. And
So
what
yeah.
really gets me is these healers that call themselves healers out there and say, I can give you an attunement. First of all, you're not giving me anything. You're reminding me of who I already am, because all of us have these frequencies inside ourselves. What we have is, some of us have forgotten. So
Hmm.
it's not that that person is doing anything for you. You're activating. They're like activating you to remember who you are. But you
Yeah.
are already divine. No one person is more powerful than another. We all have these things inside of us. And just by the looks of our journey does not define where we are in our journey. So everyone needs to know that. You don't know where someone else is on their journey, and you'd be surprised. So it's important to not judge and to really respect others and give freely, because the more we give, the more we receive, right? And we are only as free as everything we give away, right? That's when we're all powerful, when we have to keep nothing for ourselves. We give everything away and we realize that we're more than all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to help others. So I have a couple of things I'm not done talking about yet. Do you mind if I keep going?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So I was going to get into the muscle testing and the magnets. So it's the same kind of theory. I don't know how many of you know about body emotion code. I know it's popular here in the US. And so it's basically a theory like that, is that we release our trapped energies and emotions through our governing meridian with the magnets. But what if you don't have the money or have the time to get certified? What do? Well, you can do all this yourself. First of all, any of these things, they might be trademarked under the actual coaching or certification, but the actual modality of using magnets and codes and scans are all free. This belongs to all of us. So I make my own scans, and you can do the same, and you can do them just from emotions that you felt in your life, looking up emotions. But the emotion code chart is actually free to all, and you can download it. And it's a good place to start. But even if you don't have the emotion code, let's say you don't have access to a computer or you don't have access to print this stuff out, you can just ask yourself during the day, what is it that I can clear for myself today? Is there a trapped emotion that's causing an imbalance in my body? And if the answer is yes, clear it. Say, well, what could it be? And then just think about emotions that you might feel. Is it anger? Is it grief? Is it sadness? Is it unworthiness? Is it helplessness, hopelessness? Am I living in a victim state? And you can really start clearing that stuff out. You can take your magnets again, and then you can do it with intention, and you can just say, clear that low frequency of helplessness from my body, mind, and spirit. Clear it from my life. It no longer serves a purpose for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to transmute it to positive light energy, showering me with what's to my highest benefit. And you can do this. One thing I do want to mention is that when you do magnet therapy, as you detoxify, because as you shift cell angles, you do release toxins. And not only are we releasing toxins, but when we're doing like body emotion code and different kind of magnet therapy for trapped emotions, we are releasing emotions, and it can be exhausting. We can have coldness, we can have heat flow through our body. Those are two ways we know that we're releasing. We can also be exhausted, fatigued. We can be highly emotional. Don't make any rash decisions, any really big life-changing decisions at that time. Allow yourself processing time. You can also do a muscle test for processing time. Will this take me hours? Will this take me days? And you can say how many days, and you can count them out and find out how long it will take. So the last thing I wanted to touch base on before I want to open it up to more questions is that as we pull energies in and we create trapped emotions for ourselves in our body, we can also do this with good things. So we can pull joy in, and we can resonate joy. Why are we resonating fear? Who wants that? I don't want fear. I'll get rid of the fear and I'm going to put the joy in. So if I can go through a situation that's traumatizing, and I can resonate fear for 10 years until I get rid of it, why can't I do that with joy? And the fact is that you can do it. So when you're in a situation and you feel like so much joy, wow, this feels great. I love this. I wish I could feel this way all the time. Well, open yourselves up to that. Start putting in your own emotions. Trap that emotion in you. So you can either take your magnets, or you can just take your hands, which have energy, right? We have energy in our hands. We can say, take this. Oh, I want to take this joy and just put it in my body, saturate it through every
Mm-hmm.
single one of my cells. Oh, it's saturating. I feel it. It feels so good. Let it resonate in my body. I choose for the joy to resonate in my body, in my cells, in every part of my being, in my energy systems. And it feels so good. Even just saying it and doing it with your hands, you can clearly feel your vibration changing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Wow. Oh man, this has been, I'm excited about really digging deeper into magnetic therapy and doing more of it at home. Like I know once before we did it together, and that was like, that was really interesting. Like, and I could
Yes.
definitely feel the changes. And so I want to continue to do that. Because like you said, this is helping to aid that healing process and to activate it. So I would love to continuously have my body activating and working on the healing process because
Yes.
I do feel like the body goes through so much. Like the
Yeah.
body holds emotion. It's not just what we exert, but it's also what is inwardly too that it's also dealing with. Because just like we're experiencing anxiety and fear, it's also a lot of that going on within too. So I think this is good. This is really,
Yes.
really, really good. I wanted to go back to mindfulness for just a moment. I wanted to ask you, what does that look like? Is that like is it a meditation session? Is it something that we could just do really quickly to see how we go into our mindfulness? Is it just sitting there doing breath work and thinking? Like what does a mindfulness moment really look like?
So mindfulness moments can look a lot of different ways. And once you get really in touch with your body, there's a lot of ways you can be mindful even when the environment around you is overstimulated. But to begin, it's always good to go into a quiet place and to really just sit with yourself and sit with clear and precise posture. If you can't and you need to lay down, that's fine too. Just make sure that you're sitting with intention, that you feel relaxed, and that you have nothing else straining your senses, that you don't have loud sounds and music playing, and that you're really focusing inward. And when you focus inward, really, really be in touch.
Oh wait, you kinda got stuck.
Mhm.
You kinda got stuck there. Okay. You said when you're focusing inward, then it stop.
So when you focus inward, you're going to want to pay attention to the vibrations and feelings that your body is feeling. So each one of those vibrations are telling us something. So when someone begins to meditate and maybe is not usually one to meditate, they may have a
Mhm.
lot of emotions and thoughts come through and they
Mhm.
distracting them. And that's okay too, because we can use all of those things to our benefit. So one thing I used to do when I started meditating is when I would think of my mom all the time and I would feel a tingle in the back of my ear. And so when we have different thoughts, we can access different parts of our body where the energy is trapped. So if you keep continuously having thoughts while during meditation, you're going to really want to look at that and think about why you're having those particular ones. They may have more
Mhm.
meaning than other just fleeting thoughts. Those really may be something you really need to work on. And so maybe sometimes just sitting with that thought and feeling your body is a really good place to really internalize and really start uh, focusing. So sometimes mindfulness isn't necessarily just having a clear mind, but take those thoughts that keep intruding and just pick one of them and just sit with it. And how does it feel?
Mhm.
What does it take to move through it? Where do you feel it on your body? And what kind of work do you have ahead of you to clear it? And so when I've, in my past, from my own experience, I've sat with feelings and felt contractions, and I feel contractions in different parts areas. So what I do is, after realizing what areas they come from, I'll sit with that contraction and I'll literally even touch that area and be like, it's okay. It's okay to feel like this. What is it? I want
Yeah.
to feel it. And as you feel it, sometimes other thoughts come to mind, memories of sadness or memories of grief or something that we've been stored, sometimes anger and resentment. And you're like, oh, that's what's in there. That's what's in there. That I feel it now.
Mm.
And you
Mm.
have to feel it and relive it. Feel those feelings and say it's okay, because it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to be where you're at. But what does that feeling mean to just sit in it? And sometimes just that alone can clear that away and you'll feel better. There's a lot of different ways to process the energies that come through our body.
Mm, that was powerful right there. So powerful. Wow, I've learned a lot about mindfulness, emotional coding. Because I know earlier, my friend was talking about emotional coding. Well, she was saying coding, and at first I was like, "What is coding?" But then when you just mentioned emotional coding a moment ago, as it relates to the magnet therapy, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
So wow, this is amazing. So mindfulness, muscle testing, the magnet therapy. This is
Yes.
all a part of our elevation of our own healing. Oh wow. So I guess if I had to ask you something, because I asked all the questions. I don't think we have any more questions. If anyone has any more questions, please do post them up. But if I had to ask you out of all three, how much time do you spend on all three on a daily basis, or do you just do one weekly? Like what does your schedule look like? How can one make it really fit into like a daily schedule, or even just doing something active like out and about in the car? Like what does that look like in an active person's life?
Yeah, so I think the benefit of all these things is that there is no time that you have to do them. So if you want to clearly set aside 10 minutes a day and do practice them, then that's great too. But for
Mm-hmm.
myself, I just start becoming aware when somebody's speaking to me in a tone that I'm not very thrilled about. I start thinking, what is this? What is this? And what do I do with this information? When I am in a walk into a room, I say, whoa, what is these feelings I'm having? And I sit with that. When I'm in the car, is a lot of times I like to focus on my organs. So it's like my organ time. Like I'll
Mm.
do pi to fa, or I'll do like magnets while I'm driving. I release,
Okay.
and I like to also just be aware of throughout the day. I see a lot of clients, and is there anything I absorbed? We become
Mm-hmm.
a lot better and more self-aware, and we can intertwine these things in minutes a day, or in half an hour a day, or even twice a day. I mean, there's so many things we can do, but the more that you do them, the more you heal. And we have so many
Mm.
layers that there is no right or wrong way to go about it. We can do it as much or as little as possible, as long as we're on our way.
Yes. You got me thinking now when you were saying just like clearing energies from like people that you might have encountered that day. When I think of sage, right? I know a lot of people use sage sometimes. The other one is Palo Santo, I think.
Yes, yes.
Would you say those in addition to the magnet therapy can help with releasing any kind of energies that you may have came into contact with in the day?
Well, I mean, I think all of those things are good. And when we use healing plants in our life, I mean, they definitely change the reactions we have to traumatic events, our moods, our muscles can feel more relaxed. I don't think it's necessarily any one thing. I mean, I burn mugwort, which is really good, and sage also. But you can use whatever's closest to you. And plants are here and they want to offer their help to us. So if we use something that grows in our garden, it's going to rest. It's there for a reason. It's living
Mhm.
close to us in our energies because it's actually beneficial. And so we want to take that, and we really can use everything. We can use everything. The other day I had rosemary. I had a rosemary plant, and there's only so long. I have so many plants, but the rosemary is just, they only last so long. And I just burn it, and it's just beautiful because they're here for a reason. We're all here for a reason, and we're all feeding off of each other, like energies transfer,
Mhm.
energy absorption, and I think it's all offered in love. And when something grows in your energy space, it's because it's benefiting you, or it wouldn't
Yeah.
be growing.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Plants are there to help us heal too. I love
Yeah,
that. That is so true. That is so true. I think everything is right there. It truly is. This has
yeah.
been
So perfect.
wonderful. Like,
Thanks.
I love it. Okay, everything so down, the top, down,
Yes.
top,
Top
down,
down, origin out.
origin out. Okay. All right. All right. And then the mindfulness moments. Okay. Then the muscle testing. If it's strong, that means it's a yes. If it lets go, it means it's a no.
Or
It's not
imbalance.
serving. Now, I know earlier you wanted to talk about muscle testing with magnet therapy.
Yeah, so when you use the body emotion code chart, or when you don't have a chart available and you can say, what is there an imbalance I can clear for myself today? And you can just test yes or no. And then after you do your muscle test, you can clear it. So we can use muscle test. What emotion is it? Is it anger? Is it helplessness? um is it grief? Is it sadness? We don't unnecessarily need charts. We can make our own. I make all of my own scans, but you can even write down feelings that you don't want in your body, and you can use that as your chart if you don't have one. Or you can just
Mm,
download a copy of emotion code and you can do the muscle testing. And after you figure out what frequency you're resonating, then you can take your magnets and you can clear it.
hmm Okay. Yay! I love this. Okay, someone else said you can. Okay, she was putting a link on where to go to buy sage sprays. Okay, so where can we follow you? Where can we learn more about what you're doing? Where can someone sign up for your classes or to be consulted by you? We would definitely like to, what's next for you?
Well, they can always go to my website, which is Trilogy, Trilogy. So it's Trilogy Energy Systems at .com or .org. Either one all
Yeah.
goes to the same place. Or you can just find me under my name, Denise Pesina, Pesina, on Instagram or Facebook.
Yay! And someone did say, can magnet therapy work with acupuncture? I know earlier you
Yes.
said in acupuncture they use it, right?
Yes, you can use magnets instead of acupuncture, or you can do both. There's a lot of different things that you can do with acupuncture. You can use moxibustion in acupuncture. You can use the Ito
Mm.
machine, which is the muscle stimulation. So, and you can use magnet therapy. So you can use the magnetic pulse therapy and hook them to your acupuncture needles.
Mm.
Before acupuncture, just run your whole body through with a whole magnet massage. There's a lot of things that you can do.
Oh, wow. This is amazing. Okay, so trilogysystems.com.
TrilogyEnergySystems.com.
Yes, and then Denise Pesina on Instagram. Yay! Well, I am super excited. I'm looking on going into the rest of this weekend. I'm definitely gonna be finding me some magnets that are much more stronger because I know this is not 300. I know the magnet from the
Yeah,
refrigerator
they
is
look
not
beautiful.
300, okay?
I think that's for visual stimulation,
Visual stimulation.
visual energy.
Yes. I'm gonna get my magnets on up. Well, it has been a pleasure, Denise. This
Thank
was
you. Thanks for having me.
wonderful. Yes, and I hope to have you back on again later again.
Definitely.
We definitely want to talk about your Moxa bus. I want to definitely get into that
I
later.
do.
So
Yeah,
yes, more to
moxibustion,
come.
Haida. I can always come on and do anything. Tuning forks. I've studied for a long time, and I know a lot of different things, and I know shortcuts to a lot of different ways that you can just be your own healer. So thanks for having me. It was such a wonderful time. Thank you, my brothers
Yeah.
and sisters.
Yes, thank you everyone and all of our wellness and gentlemen who have come on today. Have a fabulous Saturday, a great weekend, and just remember, I pulled the affirmation cards yesterday, and the card was I am whole. And so just to go back to I am whole, everything about you is whole. You don't need anything to make you whole. You are whole as is. Any kind of mistakes, risks you've taken, decisions, whatever it is, you are always whole. You are everything you need and
Yes,
more.
that is
All
so
right.
beautiful.
Yes. So have a great weekend. And yes, she said, thanks, Denise. Yes.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having
Have a great
me.
weekend,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.